Welcome, everybody, to episode number 37 of the Sports Blitz. I'm Doug, and we have Robbie. Robbie, how you doing?
Doing well, just living that good old
Social distancing
quarantine,
dream.
social distancing life. I actually have not left my bedroom at all. I've actually been in here since the last episode. I actually haven't left. I've just been sitting up here at my computer with my headphones on.
Is somebody
Kind of
bringing you your
sad.
meals?
Yes, yes.
Oh
They
my
won't come
goodness!
take my trash. There's just like trash everywhere. You can't see it, but yeah, it's not good, man. It's
Yeah,
not good. I'm cracking up. I don't know what day it is. I don't even know what year it is.
he's cracking under the pressure, folks. He's cracking.
I'm cracking. I don't know what month it is, day, year,
I'll tell
hour.
you, these sports blitz and on the couch and all these kinds of stuff are kind of keeping us sane throughout this whole ordeal.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just we're just losing it.
Yeah, totally.
We gain our sanity back for like an hour to do this, and then we just go right back.
Right, exactly. We go right back to foaming at the mouth and on the couch or in the chair.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense. But again, I hope everybody is healthy and safe. But what we're going to do today is we're very excited that we're going to talk about the Patriots draft. We're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to go into some Red Sox. We're going to go into some Sox talk. We're going to let Robbie take over for some of that stuff, and it's really. We're going to talk about the report that finally came out after 12,000 months of whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna talk a little bit about maybe some Gronk talk, and then we'll get our final words in. So that's kind of the basis of what we're gonna do tonight.
Right.
But first, I want to ask you right up front, Robbie, without kind of going over who and what and when. Number one, what did you think of the draft in itself? Did you watch the draft? Did you like the format of the draft? How did it work out? And then we'll get to kind of who they drafted and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I did watch it. I watched pretty much all of the first round last Thursday night. Actually, wow, it's already been a week. Crazy. Again, time.
You do know what time it is.
Yeah.
At least what day it is.
At least I know that one day out of the week, apparently.
That's right.
No, I did watch the first round. Sort of tuned in here and there for the second 2 days of it. Honestly, I liked the format. I mean, I think they did a good job with sort of what they had, so to speak. There didn't really seem to be that many technical glitches with like Goodell or with showing the picks in their homes or things like that. I think honestly it was not bad. It was not bad. It could have honestly gone a lot worse in terms of technology. I know that there was some talk leading into it about how teams were concerned about the virtual draft and things like that. I did get a big kick out of seeing some of the coaches and executives in their home offices, or guest Husky coaches in some cases. But yeah, I thought that was I thought it was really interesting. And maybe they could take, I hope that next year they can kind of go back to the regular draft format, but who knows? Maybe they can sort of take some of those virtual aspects and apply it going forward, because it actually did not go half badly, and I think that's something that the NFL should be proud of, the fact that they were able to pull this off with pretty much without a hitch.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The first time that they practiced, and I think they practiced a couple days before, they had some technical difficulties with even the first, not just the first round, but the first pick.
Yeah.
So there was some technical difficulties, but I guess they they got those fixed, and I loved the fact that there's a couple things behind the scenes that I'm not sure people know about unless you were kind of maybe listening to sports radio or listening to ESPN. And one of the things is that all the first rounders were sent all the team hats because they didn't know necessarily. Some didn't know, obviously, probably at least the first round, first pick knew where he was going, but I'm sure. But other than that, they were sent all the team's hats so they could, once they got the phone call, they were able to choose the hat that kind of went with the team. So that was kind of cool that they did that. The other thing is that when you watched Bill Belichick, one of the pictures that I guess he sent out was the fact that his dog Nike was actually on the seat, and he said, "Well, I wasn't making the picks; it was my dog Nike." So, and his dog was just there, and it was very cool. If you haven't seen that picture, it's very cool. It's a really cool picture. You gotta look it up, or I assume it's online somewhere because they had it on the news. They had the picture, so you can probably find it. But that just was really cool. I liked it too. I thought it was interesting how they were able to put the technology together with things that they had to do. I like the fact that, and everybody thought, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, and there's going to be glitches, and going to be all kinds of things. It really wasn't any. I didn't see any at all, and it really went very smoothly and really very well. I just thought it was really good. I didn't watch all 42 rounds, but I did, which is an exaggeration, obviously. I think I watched the first round, and then I tuned in on radio mostly for the other stuff. Did you watch the first round at all, or?
I watched pretty much the whole first round, like I said, and then sort of tuned in here and there. Was mainly for the remaining rounds, sort of following along on Twitter, or ESPN, whatever, ESPN app, whatever. I will say this is that draft had far less technical difficulties than this show has had over our episodes recording virtually. So they're doing a better job than we are, at least.
Yeah, and you know what? People have to realize that those kinds of things are going to happen. There are things that freeze up. I think there's a lot of people that are doing Zoom meetings at night with their family and friends, and I know I have been. So I know it's been.
In our case, iMovie loses 40 minutes to an hour plus of materials.
Yes, that was not a good night.
No,
it was not a good night.
That
was not a good night.
I was really about to throw my computer out a window. So.
Yes, exactly, and I was about to throw Robbie out a window. So I just spent an hour and 40 minutes, and we lost pretty much all of it. So anyway, besides that, we're good now. We fixed our technical difficulties, which is good.
We hope.
Right, exactly. Well, we just keep going. No matter what, we keep going.
Yeah.
So, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to start talking about some of the picks and what your thoughts are. And I was a little, I don't know. I'm going to just throw it right to you. Were you surprised of what happened in the first round with our pick? I mean,
yes and no. In case you haven't heard or were living under a rock, welcome. You've missed a lot.
Yeah, actually, you should probably crawl back under the rock right now because it's probably not a good time.
Don't come out for another 6 months.
Not a good time to come out. Go back under. Go back under.
But yeah, the Patriots they traded their first round pick, so they ended up picking in the first round. I think I sent out a tweet saying that I literally stayed up for, or no, not stayed up, but literally, had the draft on for 2.5 hours for that with the question mark. So that was kind of interesting. I mean, yes and no in terms of being surprised. I mean, Bill has always had ways of sort of shuffling his picks around in past drafts and stuff like that. So with him, nothing really surprises me. I would have liked to see them maybe at least take a chance on a first rounder, but at the same time, especially that late in the first round, I don't know. Like I said, I was not. I think what it comes out to, I was not surprised. Maybe a little bit disappointed, but I was definitely not surprised that Bill and Nick Caserio sort of took that route when it came to dealing with that, literally dealing that first round pick.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but then again, I wasn't surprised because Bill always just, I don't know. I don't really know what he does in the draft. All I know is that, he seems to pick these guys that may not be, first round players. They may not be players that can. He picks players from all over the country, every school. It's not just Michigan and Michigan State and the schools and Florida and Florida State. It's not just those schools. He picks guys from all over the place. So I thought that was kind of. I also got the sense he could have picked a quarterback right there, and I got the sense that he has a little bit more trust in Stidham, maybe. We'll talk about this in a little while, but I think he has a little bit more trust in the fact that I guess, and to say it right out, Robbie, I'm not sure if he liked anybody at that position. Maybe he liked the first couple, first two or three, first two anyway. But I don't think he really did, because he would have picked somebody. And that's just my opinion, because there were quarterbacks that were available at that time. So my thought is that he just wasn't interested. He didn't think that they had value at that position. He likes to pick in the later rounds. I won't say anything, but there was a quarterback that won some Super Bowls that was not picked in the first round. I think it was a 6th round pick, actually. I think.
Oh, yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, a guy from Michigan, actually, of all schools.
Yes, matter of fact, a guy who actually was, behind Drew Bledsoe, and then he came out and started.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and then for some reason he came in and started doing really well. And I can't remember his name, though. Remember his name?
Tom. I think it was Tom.
Tom. Yep, Tom.
Grady.
I don't know his last name.
No, wait. Brady. Tom Brady.
I remember him. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Won a couple of Super Bowl rings, 6.
Few. So my whole feeling was, Robbie, is that Bill just wasn't interested. He wasn't interested in any of the quarterbacks that were available at that time. So I wasn't really surprised. I was a little disappointed because I wanted to see, he picked a wide receiver last year in the first round. So I was a little surprised because there was some wide receivers out there too. Really good ones too. There was at least 2 that I know about. But I really wasn't surprised, because when it comes to Bill, you're typically not surprised about that kind of thing.
Well, I think the one that we had talked about last time in our draft preview was gone by the time it got down to the Patrick, and that was Jordan Love, Utah State. He ended up going to Green Bay, which I think surprised a lot of, from what I was reading, at least surprised a lot of Packers fans. I think there was a lot of surprise sort of around football circles of the Packers went with a quarterback. It's kind of, I'm sure, I know we'll touch on this maybe at some point this evening, but like it sort of ignited some rumors about Aaron Rodgers and just how secure Aaron Rodgers is in the starting position there in Green Bay. But yeah, other than that, I mean, none of the other quarterbacks that the Patriots were maybe linked to were first round materials, so I can understand why they would stay away from that with that first round pick.
Yeah, no, I totally get that too. And there are some rumors about Aaron Rodgers, but isn't that one of the it's not a bad place to go, be able to learn how to quarterback, because you have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
maybe second or third in line, and you learn from him. I mean, that's the best possible situation as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, there have been some thought processes to that. But what we did was we went to the second round, and we had pick number 37.
yeah.
And with pick number 37, we picked a guy I've never heard of. And a school.
And we picked another guy that I haven't heard of.
Wait, and a school that I never heard of. So Bill decided
Wait, what school was that?
Bill decided to take a safety. Oh. His name is Kyle Duggar.
Oh, yeah.
No relation to me, because my name is Doug. And the school is Lenore Rhine.
Oh, I heard about that. That's a D2, I believe. It
is.
Yeah.
It is a D2 school.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really what I said when I heard about the pick.
Wow.
I was like, yeah. What? See, I try very hard, especially in the last 20 years, not to think about the picks too much, because Bill does not go with the norm. He just doesn't.
True.
He doesn't. You think he's going to do this, he does something totally opposite. He picks in the second round when there are so many other guys out there. He picks in the second round. He picks, and at number 37, which isn't a bad pick, he picks a guy from a D2 school that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah.
Now, this guy is supposedly in the D2 at this school. Really good safety. He's a really good player. But that doesn't mean it translates to the NFL necessarily. But I don't know. I just what did you think of the pick? I was dumbfounded, but
I gotta be honest. Like, I mean, I would sort of read the notification about the picks and stuff like that. I did not. I'm gonna be honest, brutally honest here, folks. I did not do my homework nearly as much as Doug did with these picks. I know the one thing I will say about yeah,
the
one thing I will say is apparently Bill, decided that Michigan was going to be his school of the year this year. He picked two guys, I think, in a row from Michigan, or two guys from Michigan, something like that. I know he picked like a linebacker and somebody else from Michigan later.
Yeah,
on,
the next pick is round 2, pick number 60. And they picked Josh Uche. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Outside linebacker from Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, supposed to be really good.
Him and Chase Winovich will be correct. Will be patrolling that linebacking core this year, I guess. Then.
Yes.
The two Michigan men.
That's very true. Now, this next pick is really very, very interesting, because this guy's supposed to be this guy is 6'2", 256. His name is Anthony Jennings. He's DL from Alabama.
Yes, I heard they picked an Alabama guy.
Yeah, he started in 38 out of 54 career games with the Crimson Tide. He's projected as kind of like a stand-up edge guy. They think that he's very, very close to and I hate to bring this up because I know people hate to bring it up because then once you get that name out there that he looks like or he reminds you of, am I keeping you up there, Robbie?
Sorry.
dude, turn up your screen, man.
Sorry.
No, you know to do that, like hello.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm going dark.
This guy, I know. This guy is projected to be like a Kyle Van Noy type of player.
Former Patriot Kyle Van Noy,
Former Patriot Kyle Van Noy, but again, a Kyle Van Noy type player. And you know that's what he's projected to be. I don't know. I've got no idea. Then round 3, pick 91, we got Devin Asasi. He's a tight end from UCLA. So we picked 2 rookie tight ends. What do you think about that?
I mean, tight end is that one of the positions that we definitely need some help with the depth category out. So I can't say I'm surprised because we really don't have any tight ends to begin with. So might as well take some more no-name guys. I mean, I just wanted to let you know that tomorrow, once this quarantine ends, I'm going to go down to Foxborough and try out myself to be a tight end for the Patriots because they look to be needing some help in that department.
I'd like to actually watch that workout, actually. That would be great.
So would I, yeah. I like to watch tape of myself and just hang my head in shame.
So this guy, Devin guy, this Asasi guy, was a former number 3 tight end in the country behind Lions' Isaac Nauta. So a former number 3, I don't know what that means. He could be number 103 now. I don't even know, man. I don't have. I don't know. I don't have any idea. So the next, we actually went to Virginia Tech at pick number 101 and picked.
Yes, this tight end. Yes.
Yes, this is Dalton Keene.
Yes.
And the Patriots traded up with the Jets to select him.
Yeah.
They
ACC
surrendered 3
guy.
picks. Yeah.
ACC guy.
Yes. And again, we'll just have to see. Well, I mean, what happens with these guys? I mean, I don't know too much about them. I looked up most of these guys and tried to figure out what the next.
I will say this. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but there is one.
But you're going to. Wait. This is a kicker. The kicker?
Yeah. There's one draft pick that I've heard.
He's next.
Okay, I've heard of him for all the wrong reasons. I feel like.
Right. So I'm not going to.
Do you want to go down this rabbit hole?
Sure, why not? People are talking about it.
Yeah.
So this is from the Raiders. This is round 5 pick number 159, Justin Roundwasser.
From Marshall.
From Marshall, yeah.
Yeah. We are Marshall.
So the controversy of this guy is well, the good thing is from what I'm hearing, because I've never seen the guy play. I just never have seen the guy play. But,
I don't think I've ever seen a Marshall football game in my life.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that from what I'm hearing is that he cooks really well. No, he kicks really well. Oh boy.
He may cook very well.
He probably does. Who knows? He went to Marshall, so I don't know whether he cooks well. Then again, I don't know whether these guys cook well. Like a Virginia Tech guy.
Now the question is, does Brandon Cooks cook well though?
Yes, because he has it in his name, so he's got to cook well.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, that's a problem. I think what it comes down to is that they say this guy does really well in really, really bad weather. That's what I heard. I heard he's a good kicker, but he cooked in bad weather. Oh man, this is going downhill very quickly.
Well, what else is new? This is our MO of this show, is that we have these moments where we just go off the rails. And we
This is
talk
horrible.
about,
Okay, so let's
talking about cooking kickers.
cooking kickers now.
No,
Okay.
cooking. We talk about cooking kickers.
Okay, so the big outside linebackers, they eat kickers for lunch. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about this guy Justin, who has a little bit of a controversy. Robbie, tell us what that is.
Yeah, he apparently has a certain tattoo that is getting a lot of attention because it is apparently somehow associated with a group that is very into how do I put this? I'll just say it: neo-Nazism and white supremacy and all that fun stuff, and yeah, I don't know quite how to go. I don't know quite
No,
how to go from there. Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
exactly what it is. But what he said was that he's either going to do one of two things. He's going to either get it removed or get it covered up because he was young when he got it, which doesn't make any sense because he actually has it in some pictures before he was that young. So he said he got it when he was, I don't know, really young, but he's also really young. So how young could he get it? I don't know. Anyway, he said he was going to cover it up or he was going to cover it up or get it removed. So either one of those, I don't know what he's going to do with it, but I don't know. I just think that, I don't know if Bill knew about this. Typically, they do a lot of research on these guys before I'm not sure if they research what tattoos the guy has on his body, but they do a ton of research. So I don't know really whether, Patriots always have some kind of controversial pick, some kind of controversy with somebody. So, why not have the kicker have an issue? So it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that was my next one. The next one after that was Michael Onwenu. He's a guard. I'm just going to go through them right now. Justin Herron was the next one from Wake Forest. He's an outside tackle. Cash, spelled Cassh. Malua. He's a linebacker from Wyoming. Again, I don't know what these guys are.
I'm just loving you trying to pronounce these guys' names. It's our new segment. Doug pronounces the picks.
Doug, I pronounce the picks. I can't read that. Can you read this, please? The last one, round 7, pick 230. Is Justin Woodard, the center from Memphis. This Justin Woodard guy, I was reading some stuff on this guy. C21 in the draft class, it was generally off the radar. So he's a perfect Patriots 7th round pick because he's off the radar. I don't know what that means, man. Scouts believe Woodard, who started 52 games in college, would have ran the 40-yard dash in 5.10 seconds.
Well, he's a center.
Yeah, well, this guy's going to fight
the ball and block.
He's gonna fight for a final roster spot if he ever gets one. I mean, that's really what it is. But overall, picks. I mean, I know we don't know a lot about them. I'm not even sure if we could give it a grade just because I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the second pick. I think the Alabama guy, Inference, is a good pick. Yeah. I think the 2 tight ends, I would like to see them out there to see what they can do. Josh Uche from outside linebacker from Michigan, he's supposed to be really good. But I'd like to see the tight ends. But all in all, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about at least the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, including the kicker?
Yeah.
The kicker that cooks.
The kicker that cooks, yeah. Um, I think, I don't think they're that bad of picks. I mean, just from what I'm hearing and, talking to you about it, I mean, I think it's very interesting that we drafted a guy from a D2 school in the second round. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad.
No, and again, I looked at some of these
That's all I
guys.
got, folks.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I got it.
Doug, I did want to ask you though, really, really quick, just to get it's draft related, but I did want to ask you because we had talked about this last episode. What were your thoughts on Tua actually being picked number 5 by the Miami Dolphins?
I think it was probably real smart. Excuse me, for Miami to do that.
Were you surprised though that he actually went in that slot?
Yes, I do. I thought he was going to drop down a lot more because of his injuries, and that's what I thought. Although he had a really good combine, from what I'm hearing. I'm not sure how much of a combine
he had his own personal workout that he filmed, and he apparently looked really good in. So that kind of eased the tension for some teams, it sounds like, or for the Dolphins at least, it sounds like.
Yeah, I would still be a little nervous about his injury status. So that's just my personal opinion, but that's a great question. I did not think that he would go even that low, since they were thinking originally that he was going to go number 1, but then with all his injury status and stuff like that, he hasn't even been cleared to play, as far as I know.
I mean, Joe Burrow is just, I mean, I hate to say it, but Joe Burrow is far and above better, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with
that. Joe Burrow deserved to go number 1. I mean, Joe, especially this past year at LSU, I mean, was incredible. And by the way, how about, and I again, don't want to get too much into the overall stuff, but Ohio State came out big in this draft, especially in the first round. Because they had the number 2 and 3 picks, I believe it was, were both Ohio State kids. And Joe Burrow used to play at Ohio State. So what a top 5 it was for the Buckeyes and former Buckeyes.
Yeah, I agree with that too. It's they definitely they got the beginning of the draft there, so that totally makes sense. But I think overall, I mean, I can't really give him a grade necessarily, but I am interested in seeing some of these guys and how Bills will mix them in with the regular dudes and with the veteran players, and to try to figure out.
You got a little bug action.
No, I was trying to get you off the screen. No, just kidding.
You're trying to get me to stop. It says you ought to get to take some focus off of your cooking kickers guy.
My cooking kickers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on something really quickly. Is we did sign, I think it was 7 or 8 free agents. 8 veteran free agents. I just want to say their names because I don't want to necessarily go through them, but as things get
just
closer,
see if you can pronounce them.
Oh, I can pronounce these guys. These are easy. It was the draft picks that were hard. The Patriots signed D.L. Bo Allen. He's actually from Tampa. We don't know anybody that went to Tampa recently.
No, doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't ring a bell.
So we no, not at all. We also got wide receiver Damiere Byrd. Not Larry Bird. No relation to Larry. Actually,
Jameer's walking through that door. Larry's not walking through that door.
Actually, Jameer Bird's name is BYRG, not BIRG.
Oh.
So it's a little different.
Wow.
We got linebacker Brandon Copeland. That should be interesting because oh yeah, that should be interesting. DB Cody Davis. We know about Brian Hoyer, and we got Marquise Lee just recently, a wide receiver, and defensive back Adrian Phillips, and fullback Dan Vitale, pronounced Vitale. So those were the free agent signings. So
I thought the funny thing is, for a second there, I thought you were talking about the undrafted free agents. I'm like, wait, Brian Hoyer was not an undrafted free agent.
Two, and interestingly enough,
to pick up where you were going there, but okay.
Interestingly enough, the two we did pick up two
quarterbacks,
FA quarterbacks, which, by the way, why? I don't know. I don't have any idea, Robbie. I don't know what he's doing. The first is Louisiana Tech's Jamar Smith. And the second is, Michigan State's Brian Lewerke.
Hey.
So I don't know where they fall. What do you think? I don't understand. You're going to have
five quarterbacks. Four. Four, I guess. Yeah, five if they bring in another veteran guy that's been talked about. But yeah, they got one for each quarter.
Today. Yeah, as of today, Andy Dalton was let go by the Bengals. So there's been talk that the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to pick him up. I don't think Bill's going to pick him up. Then he'll have five. What's he going to do with five? I don't know. He's got five to take over for one Brady. We were just talking about that earlier. I don't understand how that's going to
go. Like I told you earlier, one for each quarter, one for
each quarter, one for overtime. Okay, so who do we save for overtime? And who starts?
Hoyer. We gotta save Hoyer. Hoyer. Gotta save Hoyer for overtime.
What is that? Is that his name, Hoyer?
No, I just
gotta say his name twice. He's twice as nice.
You gotta save Hoyer for overtime, and
who starts?
I think you have to start. I still think Stidham's gonna start. I think Dalton will be the second quarter guy. Then you'll have this Louisiana Tech kid in 3, Michigan State 4, and then if you make it to overtime, go with Hoyer.
If you make it to overtime. Dude, we're not going to make it to overtime. We're not going to win any games. What are you talking about making it to overtime?
I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic here, but we got to figure we're at least going to beat Miami once, maybe twice.
I don't even know if we can do that, dude. I really don't. I have no idea. I have no clue. So as we get closer, and I'll tell you right up front, as we get closer, we will start investigating and seeing where kind of he's going, what he's doing, final cuts, that kind of thing. We don't know what's going to happen with training camp or anything like that right now. So we're kind of in a bubble under a rock, under a rock, under the dirt, waiting to come back up. So
we really don't want to right now.
We'll get into there's a lot of talk about what they're going to try to do and stuff like that, and I'm not listening to anything until we start kind of opening up here in Massachusetts anyway. So it's going to be a little bit of a long road, but we'll Robbie and I will keep talking about it. If there's other news out there, then we'll keep doing it. Definitely. I think right now, we should kind of change over a little bit to another sport that is, not playing either. And that should be playing now.
Take your pick
of all of them. And we're going to go to the Boston Red Sox. A report came out just recently about their Wait, finally.
Finally. But I
It's
feel like we've been
there.
waiting like 6 months to,
I think we have.
for the freaking report.
Yeah, and so the report came out. I will tell you up front, I heard about it. I did not read the report. I was very disinterested in the report, just because I really didn't think. And if you listen to Lou Merloni, he says the same thing. He did not think it was a tremendously big deal because guys do it all the time. I guess in the sport that they take video and then they take video of guys and they try to learn how they do stuff, and they've also learned from themselves too by taking the video. So there is a video guy and that kind of thing to do that. But Robbie, what is, I know you read the report. What are your first impressions, or what just your first impressions about the report itself?
I mean, I think honestly, it was sort of bordering on the best case scenario for the team. I mean, I think it could have gone a lot worse. I think it's tough because, like a Red Sox fan, I think the way you look at it and just the situation in general has a lot to do with where your allegiances lie. I mean, if you're a Red Sox fan, you think this is the best news, and that I did not read all 400 pages of the report, by the way.
I don't even know how long it was.
Yeah, no, but I think depending on which team you're a fan of, I think really impacts how you view just the situation in general. I feel like if you're a Red Sox fan, you feel like this totally exonerates the team, because just to sort of give people a brief, basically in less smallest possible terms, what happened or what the report found and what punishments were imposed. Basically, the Red Sox lost a second-round pick in the draft, and then one of their video guys, who basically took the fall completely in terms of the Red Sox part of this whole cheating video scandal. He was suspended for a whole year. Cora was not actually punished for any wrongdoing with the Red Sox. He was only suspended for the year for what happened with the Astros. So I think that was a bit of a surprise. I think people, even Red Sox fans, they've expected Cora to get something more. But at the same time, that was it in terms of punishment. I mean, no players, no coaches, not even really the core, if you really look at it, were punished. So, I mean, like I said, as a Red Sox fan, you can look at it as like, wow, like basically the team was almost exonerated. If you're a non-Red Sox fan, you're probably, even without the report, basically saying, oh, the Red Sox are cheaters. You know, I think, like I said, it really depends on your fan allegiances, how you view that whole situation. I'm glad in a sense that the report's out there and we can kind of move past having it hang over our heads, sort of move on to whenever there is baseball. I know that basically immediately after the report came out, Ron Renicki's interim tag was removed by the Sox. Now it's interesting.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did it hurt to remove the tag?
Where was
it
it?
like removing a tattoo?
Hat, jersey.
Was his hat? He turned around his hat to like what I am doing right now. See, turned around. Yeah. It was backwards and stuff.
But no, he had his interim tag taken off or removed. The interesting thing is, and again, this is sort of, the report has sort of spurned some speculation. I don't know how much I buy into it, that with Renicki's contract with the team being up after the season, that there might be a chance that
1 year
Cora could come back after his suspension is over in 2021. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that that era is over with and done with. But that has been thrown out by certain people out there. But again, right now, who knows if baseball is going to be played or when it's going to be played or what not. So I think, the one not good thing about the report, but the one thing about the report is it kind of did give people something baseball related to talk about, since there is no season going on right now. So, like I said, it definitely could have been worse for the team in terms of punishments and findings, but at the same time, you never like to see any sort of rule breaking and stuff like that going on, and you hope that the team learned their lesson and will be on the up and up from here on out. So
I think that was a full report there, Robbie.
yeah,
No, I
told you I was going to make up for my lack of insight into the draft when it came to the Red Sox.
There. That was good. You
all burping and yawning aside. So.
Not supposed to read that, man. I mean, read it, but not read it out loud.
I was making fun of myself. I don't know what you're talking about. I was making fun of myself.
I don't know.
You can't laugh at yourself, Doug. Mr. Cooking Kickers.
You're the one who said cooking kickers, not me.
Oh, let's go back and play the tape, my friend.
We will. People will write. People will write.
The kicker is not a cook.
Kicker's
maybe
not a cook.
Is. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he could be. I don't know.
Cooking kickers. You call me Mr. Cooks. Anyway, so besides that, no, I think it was. I think we got a slap in the wrist. I really do, and I'm glad we did. I'm glad this wasn't something that was huge. I'm glad it happened now, because I think that it kind of. What's happening now is kind of diffusing a lot of the news, a lot of the sports news, although people are craving sports. So what's happening now is that the news cycle goes, oh, Red Sox, the report came out. They talked about it for 2 days, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
Now, if we were in the midst of the Red Sox season and this virus wasn't going on, the corona thing wasn't going on, we'd be talking about this for a long time. We're not. It was almost, and I hate to say it, it's a good time to have it come out, but because you could talk about it for a couple of days or whatever, and then it disappears. I mean, you don't really talk about it anymore because you're talking about other things. So especially what's going on in the world and trying to get all the sports teams up and running. So no, I just think it's. I think it's again, I didn't read the report. Robbie is I heard all of the things that Robbie said. I
didn't read the full report either.
I don't even know how long it is. I was just joking.
Yeah.
I was just joking about the fact that it was 400 pages. I don't even know how long it was. All I know is I think they I think they got off with
a slap on the wrist.
Kind of a slap on the wrist.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was a slap on the wrist. And like I said, you sort of take it depending on where your allegiances lie. And even as a Red Sox fan, I understand that people are going to look at us from the outside and say, oh, they got off easy, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I think, it's kind of like the Patriots in certain situations they've had. People are going to judge us regardless of what any report says. People are going to judge us based on their own
correct.
Their own allegiances. I get that. I mean, it's just sort of the way things are in sports. So I probably would do the same thing. If I were, I would probably look at it if a similar team had a situation, I'd probably look at it and say, oh, they got lucky or whatever you want to call it. So I get that, and it's just up to the Red Sox are going to have to move past, and now hopefully they can sort of focus ahead rather than with this not hanging over their head, at least in terms of what the report and any punishment already having come out.
I don't think anybody's going to really talk about it, because by the time we get baseball underway, it's going to be way, way, way in the back there. I mean, I don't think people might talk about it for a minute or two, but they won't talk about it for a long time because they want to get baseball underway and talk about the team and stuff like that. I think this reminds me of Deflategate, because what happened to Deflategate? The guy who was the person who, took the balls and was deflating them, the ball boy basically was the one who got fired, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, they got, they were.
Really, you're gonna say that was pretty much it. I think you're missing out a big key punishment that came out of that, my friend.
Well, I'm not. I'm certainly not saying that it was not.
I think you're missing
I wasn't, but I wasn't saying there wasn't a punishment. What I'm saying is that there was a fall guy. There was a fall guy for both of these kinds of things.
But the fall guy. Yeah, but the fall guy in this case. In this case, you're right. The video guy was kind of a fall guy. In the other case, the fall guy didn't change the fact that our starting quarterback got suspended for 4 games. Now, obviously, if he hadn't broken the cell phone, would things have been different? You could make the argument either way. But I think I understand where you're going with the comparison. But I think in this case, the Red Sox got off far more easier in terms of punishment and all that than the Patriots did for Deflategate. I mean, people still bring up Deflategate, year in, year out. It's basically like a Patriots signature now.
The only reason they bring up Deflategate was because of that punishment, because of the fact that Brady got 4 games. That's the only reason they bring it up. They don't bring it up for any other reason.
I don't know. After Spygate, I don't know if they. I feel like even Brady
what was the guy's name? What was the guy's name that got fired?
Yastrzemski. Or
what was his first name?
Mike, I think.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't even know is the guy's name Myers, the guy who got fired for the Red Sox thing? Is it Myers? I don't even know who the guy's name is.
Yeah.
The only reason you remember that is because Tom Brady got 4 games. Okay? But we also fired Cora for this. And Cora had nothing. Cora was going to be off anyway. He was suspended for a year. But still, they fired him. They fired the coach that brought us to the World Series. So I think they got their,
But my point is that people, even if Brady had not been suspended, I think there would have been a lot of people going forward that still would have brought up, when talking about the Patriots, would have brought up Deflategate, because basically the Patriots, especially after Spygate, were sort of dubbed as this team that
the team that has gates.
The cheaters, basically. They hate us because they hate us, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like with this Red Sox thing, you're right. Like, people basically, nothing more has come of it since, and again, it's 2 different time periods. There wasn't a global pandemic going around during Deflategate, but at the same time, I think that even without the Brady suspension, I think Deflategate would still be a topic of conversation. Now, what was it? 5 years later. Whereas I don't know if you would say, I don't know if 5 years from now, if people will be bringing out the Red Sox, the Red Sox scandal. They very well might, but I just think in that regard, there's a little bit of difference there. I get your overall point. I mean, but I think, so I think, I just think that, I think what it comes back down to is that, the Red Sox did get off easy. They got a slap on the wrist, and we should sort of take it and move on, definitely, and hope that our teams could stop putting themselves in these muddy water situations, because I'm getting kind of tired of having to defend and stress out about if our favorite teams are going to be punished or not over every little thing.
No, I mean, that of course makes sense, and I understand where you're coming from. And yeah, it would be nice for us to do, but the Astros, I mean,
the Astros, people are
wasn't just us.
Yeah.
It
The
wasn't just
Astros
us.
actually, and the Astros had basically everybody under the sun suspended. You know, their manager, GM, Cora. I mean, they got the book thrown at them for what happened. Red
Right.
Sox, they got probation. It's like you gotta look at like terms of like a criminal sentence. The Astros got 5 years in prison, where the Red Sox got probation, like 6 months probation.
And from what I
If you want to
hear,
look at it
because I
that way.
listened to Lou Merloni in the afternoon, and so you know, listen to him. And again, he was on the Red Sox. He's been in baseball for quite a long time. And from what he says that this was a slap on the wrist, and he's glad that that's what it was. The fact is that he knows that every team videos. So it's just a matter of figuring out how you can video safely without having that cheating thing going on. So that's really what it comes down to. But I'm glad that's what they got. I think when they start baseball, it may come up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be this big huge thing now. Right. I think they just want to get baseball underway and start getting these games going. So
get sports underway, do something.
Exactly. So that's just what it is. The next thing, our next topic is going to be Rob Gronkowski.
Yes.
So why don't you tell everybody what you know about Gronk in the last 24 to 48 hours? Was he over your house, or did you get invited to his house at all? Or?
No, I have not. It's not. I think it's lost in the mail somewhere. My invite.
The Sports Blitz can't. I want to see if we can get him on. We should be able to get him.
That would be something. We'll start a Twitter campaign. Get the Gronk on Sports Blitz.
That would be awesome.
No, so obviously, if you have not heard and have been living under a rock, you gotta please crawl back underneath. You really don't need to be out here right now. Don't come out. You're not
a good time to come out.
Not a good time. You're welcome, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're welcome, but not a good time to go.
Yeah.
For your own safety, just go back underneath the rock.
Better off under the rock and under the dirt right now.
Yeah, but Rob Gronkowski. On the dirt, yeah.
No, in the dirt. I didn't mean.
What did you say? Oh, under the dirt.
I said under the dirt is a reference to something totally different. So we're not condoning people going into the dirt or crawling under rocks. It's just it's a joke, people. It's a joke. But I should have said in the dirt, not under the dirt. Anyway, Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski has come out of retirement, and in doing so, was traded from the Patriots to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he will be reuniting with his bestie, Tom Brady. They're in Tampa Bay. If you listen to Brady, So Brady and Gronk back together in Tampa. I don't know. You start. Yeah, you start. I got not much more to say than that. That it happened.
I have a little bit more to
happen.
say.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a surprise, but I'm trying to figure out whether this was done a long time ago versus if it was done recently. I think that this was the plan all along. I think Bill was probably the smartest in this whole thing, was to try to get something for it. So I think he certainly did the right thing.
But do you think he got enough though? I mean, what was it, a fourth and a seventh for him? No, they gave up a seventh along with Gronk, I believe, and got back a fourth. Now, obviously, again, Gronk's been away for a year.
He's been away, and he's hurt, and he's also got his injury
bag. Yeah, the injury baggage.
So getting a fourth.
Now, if it was like a year or two ago, maybe you could have gone, something a little bit higher. But I think right now a fourth was kind of in the range of what you were going to get for him.
Yeah, but I also think Bill doesn't like Bill didn't like, he would have picked in the first round if he liked the first round.
Yeah, Bill would have traded
He
away
likes
the
the
first
later
round pick.
rounds. Yeah, he likes the later rounds anyway. So fourth round pick for him was perfect. So I don't see a problem with it. I'm just, I'm personally going to be rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad they're not
behind the Patriots. The Bucs are now my second favorite team.
That's right.
All of a sudden overnight. Yeah.
I just want to see what they're going to do with all. I mean, they have a pretty talented team. I just want to see how they're going to spread that around.
True.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Also, how is Brady going to perform? I mean, the guy as we talked about in the last episode, the guy's not getting any younger. And I mean, given the way he performed last year, I mean, yes, you can make the argument a lot of that had to do with the issues at the receiving court. But I think part of it, as much as I hate to say it, was Brady kind of the years are starting to catch up to him. So, does he have one more, amazing year where he kind of sets the league on fire, so to speak? Or is he kind of still in that inconsistent sort of, kind of like he was last year? I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. But I mean, he definitely has a better arsenal this year coming up, as opposed to what he had in New England. So I'm very excited. I mean, I'm excited. I am excited to see, how he does in Tampa, if he can kind of take the Bucs out of mediocrity and into the promised land, so to speak. Where, by the way, the Super Bowl this year again, I mentioned before, is being held in Tampa. So how it would be kind of funny if the Bucs end up in the Super Bowl in their own backyard.
Yeah, it's just a perfect scenario as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's just my thoughts on that. I'm excited to see, unbelievably, I think, and I guess this is going to be going out on lots of different kinds of things, but I'm actually more excited about seeing the Bucs than I am about the Patriots. I am a huge Patriots fan, but I am actually more excited.
I kind of agree with you.
Yep, I am. I so am. So, it is what it is. There is this thing that came out the last 24 hours that says that I guess he was joking. Gronk was joking with a reporter that said he's had the playbook for 4 weeks or something like that. And by the way, that's like tampering. You're not allowed to, unless you're signed by a team, you're not supposed to have playbook.
But he did say he was joking.
He was joking. Yeah, he was joking about it, and that's fine. And, I believe him.
It's Gronk. I mean, it's Gronk.
It's Gronk.
Unfortunately, you kind of have to take what he said. Yeah.
He was messing with her.
You have to take what he says with a grain of salt sometimes.
Yeah, he was messing with her, and she did not understand the Gronk way. So, obviously, that was not something that she was expecting at all. But she made it a news thing because it's, it was this big deal. So, and I don't think it was. So, anyway, want to get to our final words because I think we talked a lot about a lot of subjects tonight, and Robbie, what's your final thought or final word tonight?
I was wondering if you would realize that was final thoughts as opposed to final words. But hey, if you want to change the segment title, go right ahead. You're the host.
Final thoughts, final words, same thing. It's a matter of semantics.
I don't know. It's just been.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a trademark on final thoughts.
No, so. but Tom Brady does now on top of Brady apparently. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding with you. But speaking of Tom Brady,
final thoughts.
Final thoughts. By the way, we have a chat going on. People are probably wondering, what are they talking about?
Well, we have a chat.
We have a chat going on. So
go tell them what we do with the chat. We just chat. We just chat about different stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
You don't have to tell them our secrets. No, we just chat about stuff when we're in the chat. That's all. That's all. Like everybody else does on Zoom. That's
True.
all. I call Robbie ugly, and he calls me, other names. So it's one of those things.
Yeah.
What it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally
no.
kidding. So final thoughts for the evening.
Are you gonna let me get to them or
no?
All right. So everybody, bye.
Okay, I'm gonna go crawl under my rock. I'll be back.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you. Episode 38. Anyway, but no, in all seriousness, my final thought actually has to do with Tom Brady. And
of course.
The couple of news items that have come out about Brady kind of landing himself somewhat in hot water since he's been in Tampa Bay. And that is,
right, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so first off, apparently Brady was spotted or cited, according to the mayor of Tampa, not cited in terms of like the legal cited, but actually physically cited in a Tampa Bay park when the park was closed, working out. So they kind of had to shoo him out of the park. I know, bad boy, bad Tom. And the other one was apparently he meant
technical.
to go.
Technical foul.
Right. 2-minute penalty in the box.
2 minutes on Brady.
Yeah.
Get in the box. Oh,
but
sorry,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But then apparently he went to go visit or pick something up from his new offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, who, by the way, is a former NFL quarterback himself with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know what a dud that guy was. Speaking of Marshall, by the way, Byron Leftwich went to Marshall. Speaking
Thank
earlier
you.
of Marshall. But anyway, we're losing it here.
Lost it.
Yeah. We lost it a while.
Lost it about 9 o'clock or so. I think.
But anyway, apparently
Gronk does that to you.
Managed to wander into someone else's house. So again, kind of got some hot water there with the whole stay-at-home order in the state of Florida and things like that.
Yeah, but the thing, Robbie, the thing about walking into somebody else's house is that the guy who owns the house didn't realize that it was Tom Brady, and asked him, like, can I help you? He had no idea that it was Tom Brady. He really didn't know, or he's just saying that he didn't know? Because there's no way people don't know what Tom Brady looks like. Come on.
Especially in that area right now.
And by the way, the mayor of Boston said that if Tom Brady was in a park, that he would not
have kicked him out of the park.
Would not have kicked him out of the park.
Good old Marty. Tom Brady just making some headlines for himself down there, and again, he's now referring to as Tampa Brady, which I don't know how I feel about that. Tom definitely. I don't know. Tom, definitely. Going for it now that he's out of New England and now living down south, and obviously no punishment per se is going to come from any of those antics, but I just thought it was interesting how the mayor of Tampa actually had to clarify that he was cited as in like seen in the park as opposed to cited in terms of fined for being in the park, because there was some speculation that he'd actually been fined for those actions, but based on
he was kicked out of the park, but not fined.
Right. But the mayor had to clarify, because the mayor cited can go either way in legal and political circles.
Thank you for that clarification.
Robbie Johnson Esquire.
Robbie Johnson Esquire, LLC.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
PhD. Anyway, so
we are
yeah,
definitely off the rails right now, dude.
we are. We're on the complete opposite side of the track with another train coming right at us.
Thankfully, we're under rocks.
Yeah. Not under the dirt, but in the dirt.
The dirt, in the dirt, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my final word thought of the night. Doug, why don't you go ahead with yours?
I don't think I'm going to be able to. At this point, wow, holy moly, wow. It's definitely off the rails, dude. Wow.
This is typical, though. Again, this is our MO right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this has been our MO for a while, but typically we can get through the final thought word without having a problem. This is like a final thing, and it should be easy to get through, but it's just not. I really don't know why. So my final thought is actually baseball related. I can't believe it. So there you go, Robbie. So 47-year-old, almost 48-year-old Manny Ramirez has decided that he wants to go and play in Taiwan.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Why, dude? Why? You're 48. You're going to be 48 in May. He's going to go and play baseball in Taiwan. And by the way, Taiwan is actually playing baseball right
now. Yeah.
They actually
and apparently South Korea is going to be starting up at the beginning of next month, which starts.
So if you wanna watch the
Hey, ESPN. ESPN apparently is actually in negotiations to broadcast South Korean baseball here in the States. So
I am so very excited about this.
I just want live sports. I mean, I've literally watched live streams of people playing sports video games because it's the closest I can get to live sports right now. It's that sad. I'm literally considering watching NASCAR racing that's supposedly coming back May 17th, so I can actually get some live sports back in my life.
Just something.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But that's my final thought. I don't know why he's doing it. I guess he just loves baseball and he thinks he can still play. I have no clue. Anyway,
he's gonna have to get back on. He's gonna have to get back on the juice. I mean, in the batting cage.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. But I think it's also important to continue to give thanks to our, first responders, our online people at the hospitals. I know that they're dealing with a lot of things, a lot of things that people don't normally see. We just thank you for being there. I thank the people who are at the Shaw's and the Target and the grocery stores. They're not dealing with people who are sick, but they're open all the time and hours and hours and hours that they're trying to do to keep the stores open so we can get supplies and food and that kind of thing. So I was in Shaw's today. And I was the cashier.
I went grocery shopping today as well. I'm thanking everybody and all that. So
I was thanking everybody too. So it's really important.
Wear your masks, people. Also, if you go into grocery stores, wear your masks.
Thank you. That's Mayor Robbie Johnson.
Dr. Robbie.
Dr.
Mayor
Johnson, Mayor Esquire.
Johnson.
Esquire. Oh man. It's really off the rails. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Please, don't send us hate mail because we cry. We don't like it. But watch us on. I think we're gonna put it on YouTube, and we'll go. What else are we putting it on, Robbie? Facebook,
Facebook, SoundCloud. It'll be up very soon.
So give us some show ideas too, because we don't necessarily have to talk sports, just because there's not a lot of sports going on. So if you want us to do something or just
we can talk cooking. We can talk cooking.
No, I don't. We need Brandon Cooks for that. Well, we'll have to get him on the show. That's a good idea. Anyway,
we can talk cooking while burping and yawning.
we can't get out of our own way right now.
No.
So anyway, this is the Sports Blitz, episode number 37, 8, 9,
37. 37.
Number 37. Thank you very much for listening to us and watching us. Be safe and healthy out there. I'm Doug. That's Robbie. We are out. Stay safe.
See you, everybody.